Over the past week, just about everywhere you looked around Ohio's countryside, you saw a planter kicking up dust, sowing corn or soybeans across Buckeye fields. The majority of Ohio farms haven't been planted yet, but some have been in the ground for a couple of weeks. Matt Hutcheson is the product manager with Seed Consultants. He and I found a field in Mount Sterling, Ohio, that's Madison County, that was planted April 15th and emerged April 26th.
It was planted at a depth of 3 inches, and we just checked the soil temperature at that depth, and it was 59 degrees. We checked another spot in the field, and it was running 61 degrees. So corn requires at least 50 degrees for emergence, and then 100 to 120 growing degree days after planting to emerge. So between that April 15th planting date and the April 26th emergence date, we would have had that 100 to 120 growing degree days to get that corn out of the ground, even though it was planted at a depth of 3 inches. And it was planted at that depth to ensure uniform emergence. When you plant that 1.5 to 3 inches or so, you get that corn seed down into a uniform moisture and temperature. If you plant a little too shallow, you can get uneven emergence. You can get plants that germinate, other seeds that don't. You have plants that emerge days or a week apart, and then you can really start to hinder your yield and really cut on that upper end yield potential. This early in the season, right after emergence, you're just looking at the roots, the early root system. So you'll see the radical root just emerging from close to the tip of the seed, and also the seminal roots kind of emerging behind the coleoptile as it emerges out of the soil. And then after emergence, the next thing you'll be looking for is that first set of nodal roots, which begin to form after the corn plant emerges. As far as seedling depth here, it's very uniform. The root system looks like it's forming like it should, and there's plenty of moisture in the ground to keep these plants growing. So when you're walking fields after emergence, it's a great time to check your populations. When you set your population on the planter, you know what you're shooting for. It's best to come back out after plants start to emerge with a tape measure or a wheel. You can put stakes in, but for a 30-inch row, you want to measure 17 feet 5 inches and count the plants in that area. That 17 feet 5 inches is 1/1000th of an acre. So then just multiply the number of plants you count by 1,000. So we counted 31,000 plants per acre in certain areas, 32,000 in other areas. With that 31 to 32,000 acre population, this field has excellent potential to raise very good corn. And so we're very pleased with that uniform 32,000 plant population here. As the planting season continues, we want to keep in mind the ground conditions as we're doing field work. Make sure that the soil is dry enough. We talked about soil temperatures here today, and it appears that we have good enough soil temperatures in this area to start germination for both corn and soybeans. We do have some rain in the forecast, so we want to make sure as we're planting before those rains, if there's cold weather forecasted, that we avoid planting right before a cold rain event where there could be reduced stands and damage to our seedlings. And then as plants start to emerge, we want to make sure we're scouting, looking for potential pest problems, making sure that we have those stands we expected, doing stand counts, and just monitoring the early growth of our seedlings.
From Madison County, I'm Higgins on the Ohio AgNet.